Hello, everybody, and welcome to a tropical update here on Atlantic. You can see the wide view of the Atlantic right now. You can see what's left of what used to be a tropical depression Omar, now post-tropical cyclone. Now, as you can see, I will say though, looking at the last two frames, I'll go into detail about this a little bit here. But it's maybe trying to fire off convection yet again, right around the center of circulation there. So I'll talk about that a little bit here. We have these waves that came off of Africa now over the open Atlantic to have a decent chance of formation here to the next few days. And we also have an area of interest in the Caribbean here that has a low chance of formation, but still an area of interest. Um, and we also have Tropical Storm Julio currently going on in the East Pacific right now that formed off of the remnants of what used to be Hurricane Nana not too long ago. And talk into detail about that. But first, I want to talk about the big player in town right now worldwide. In terms of strength, we have Typhoon Haishen currently going on in West Pacific right now. Looks like it's trying to undergo an eyewall replacement cycle here, which if it does end up completing it and it ends up being successful, it would of course increase the wind field size of this typhoon here, and not be good news at all for South Korea. Unfortunately, and the Koreas in general, unfortunately, as the storm decides to as the storm goes over there over time here. Right now, the typhoon is passing just to the north of the Amami Islands of Japan right now. And they were recording pretty low pressures off the typhoon. I already forgot what the pressure readings were exactly, but I want to say they were in the high 940s. I want to say or low 950s millibar wise. I want to say from this typhoon. So that's this is infrared imagery of the typhoon. Here is visible imagery of the typhoon, and you can see the eye, of course, is not as pronounced as it was, say, 2 days ago, when it was pretty much super typhoon status back then. Now it's not, of course, anywhere near that at this point, but again, like I said, still a dangerous and formidable typhoon here, especially if it completes that eyewall replacement cycle. If it's successful, of course, that would, like I said, increase the wind field size and not be good news at all for the Koreas here later on down the line as the storm nears landfall there in a day or two here. Let's take a look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center latest cone for Typhoon Haishen currently going on, currently right now, I mean, and you can see they have it at 95 knots, which is about 110 miles per hour, which makes this a high-end Category 2 on the Subsistence Scale storm. And you can see they have it making landfall as a 70-knot storm, which is about 80 miles per hour. It's, if this comes out to fruition here, if it goes to fruition, it would make landfall as a formidable Category 1 on the substance scale storm here. Again, 70 knots is about 80 miles per hour, which makes it again a Category 1 force storm by the time it makes landfall here. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center think at least as how strong the storm will be. But right now, like I said, it's currently at 95 knots, which is about 110 miles per hour, making it a high-end Category 2 on the substance scale storm. Still nothing to take lightly here, especially given its huge size here. And of course, the storm is still forecast to make landfall sometime in the early morning hours of September 7th here, in the next 48 hours or so, give or take. Here's the JMA forecast track for the typhoon here. For the load, there we go. This is the latest forecast track here. Let me just refresh the page here to make sure if they update it again. I make sure I have it on here. But this is the latest. Yeah, they just updated it here. You can see this is the latest forecast cone from the JMA, the Japan Meteorological Agency here, and you can see what they currently have it at. You can see all this good information right here. You can stop the video right now and read that if you want to. The individual forecast points for each day here right there if you want to read that if you want to. And keep in mind that the Japan Meteorological Agency go off of 10-minute sustained winds, unlike the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center go off of only 1 minute sustained winds, and the JMA, the Japan Meteorological Agency, go off of 10-minute sustained winds, and they're the official agency for the basin. So if you want to look for, a 1 minute conversion, 1 minute sustained wind speed conversions to that, it's always encouraged to look at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. But of course, the JMA are the official agency for this basin here. So this is just a little look here at what they say for the typhoon here. They have it making landfall in the early morning hours of September 7th there, as you can see there. Later on down the line, there as a looks like a still a formidable typhoon there. Of course, at a weaker strength than it is now, but still a formidable typhoon. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tropical Storm Julio right now on the East Pacific. You can see you can't really see anything at all really. but the storm is there. It's just that it's getting sheared and covered up by all this kind of higher cloud cover here. Um, the storm is right about where my mouse cursor is, give or take there. Right about there. Convection is not really far over the center there, as you can see, but still, National Hurricane Center still designate this as a tropical storm here, so it's been given the name Tropical Storm Julio. Let's take a look at the latest forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center here for Tropical Storm Julio. And you can see it's forecast to stay away from Mexico here for the most part, and not be a really strong system, fortunately for them as well. Um, Julio is forecast to peak as a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm before gradually weakening and eventually looks like dissipating by about 7 in the morning, Tuesday, Central Standard Time here. As of the latest update, it's located at 16.6 degrees north, 104.2 degrees west, with maximum sustained 1-minute winds at 40 miles per hour, moving to the west-northwest at 17 miles per hour. And fortunately, does not pose any major threat to Mexico at this point. However, of course, you could always see isolated heavy rainfall occurring in some spots and maybe some increased rip currents and parts of the coastline here. So just be aware of that if you're on the forecast track of this tropical storm. But again, not going to be anywhere as intense as say Hurricane Genevieve was not too long ago over in this part of the world. Here's a look at the Atlantic right now, and you can see what used to be a tropical depression Omar, now post-tropical cyclone Omar. And we have three areas of interest here. I go over disturbance number 2 here first in the Caribbean. Has a 10% chance of formation throughout the next 48 hours and 5 days. Disturbance number 1 has a 70% chance of formation throughout the next 48 hours. And through the next 5 days, a high 90% chance of formation there. Disturbance number 3 has a low 20% chance of formation throughout the next 48 hours. Information chance for the next 5 days is a high 80% chance. And those are the three areas of interest other than Omar there in the Atlantic Basin right now. So there's something to watch here. And of course, now is a great time to go over your hurricane plan right now if you haven't done so already. Hurricane preparedness plan, just in case we get threatened by another hurricane, which seems likely, just going off of how active this season has been so far. Just make sure you have that ready. We've already had, these pretty significant hurricanes already so far this season. For example, some of them being Hannah, Isaias, and then we had most recently Category 4 Hurricane Laura make landfall in Louisiana not too long ago here in late August. So of course now is time if you haven't taken this hurricane season seriously already, which you should have done already since this is a pretty active hurricane season and it still is really active right now as we head into the peak part of this hurricane season really soon here in roughly about 5 days or so. Just to go ahead and make sure you update your hurricane preparedness kit, hurricane plan, and you know where to go if you get threatened by a hurricane or tropical storm here this season. You know where to go so you're not taken off guard and doing last minute preparations or things to take care of yourself this hurricane season. So make sure you do that. You'll be safe and you'll be fine. Um, Here's the forecast cone for Omar here, the last forecast cone. I will say, looking at the latest IR imagery, and stop the video right now and read this forecast cone if you want to, but I'm not going to read over it. But looking at this latest infrared imagery of what used to be a tropical depression Omar, it seems to yet again be trying to fire convection right over its center here, or near its center, I should say. So we'll see if it tries to yet again try to maybe try one last final showing of it trying to intensify here despite all this high wind shear around it. We'll see if that happens or not, of course. We'll see if the National Hurricane Center take note of this and maybe designate this as an area of interest or maybe redesignate it as a tropical depression, depending on if it holds all this convection or not and if it is, deep enough for the National Hurricane Center to really think that it may be trying to reform back into at least a tropical depression strength storm here. So we'll see about that, of course. For official information here in Atlantic Basin, at least here, for localized forecasts, always go to the National Weather Service, their official service for the United States here, the official weather service here for the United States here, the National Weather Service. Just type up nws.noaa.gov or weather.gov at the top of your screen there. Just type up NWS and it'll probably be the first search result that you see on there. And again, you'll know on the correct page when you see all this good crucial information here, and of course you can click on whatever part of the world you live in here, whatever part of the country I should say where you live in here, and get latest and official information there from your local agency. So like say I live in Corpus Christi, just click on there for National Weather Service Corpus Christi. It'll take you straight to your local National Weather Service office, which of course mine being the National Weather Service in Corpus Christi, Texas. And it'll give you a nice little slide of what's currently going on and what's forecast to go on. Usually, depending on what forecast office you live in. See right here, it has all the forecasts right here. It has a little map here, so you can click around. So if you don't live in, say you don't live in Corpus Christi, but you live in Alice, you could click on Alice there and get a detailed 5-day graphical forecast, and also a 7-day below that, a 7-day detailed forecast below that as well. And they also have another map here, so like if you don't actually live in Alice and you live somewhere near there, like say you live in Robstown, you could click Robstown right there and get the latest forecast for Robstown. You also have an hourly weather forecast as well too here too, so you can plan your day out in advance here. So that's about it for me. Also, lastly, here's the National Hurricane Center here. It's type of nhc.nol.gov, and on the correct page, like I said, with the National Weather Service, when you see all this good information right in front of your fingertips right here, that's when you know you're on the National Hurricane Center. And the link, of course, is on the top of your screen. And I'll include all the links on the bottom of this description here on this YouTube video. And I believe that's about it for me. So hope everybody has a great day night because stay safe, of course. Make sure you prepare for this hurricane season, and guess see you guys later. Peace.